Hey guys, thank you guys so much for joining me. I know I've been MIA, but I wanted to do a recap of last semester, which is semester 7, in hopes that it will give you a sort of like insight into what you will be experiencing. If you're interested, stay tuned. I'm a travel nurse, a BSN-DNP nurse practitioner student, and I'm a bodybuilder. If any of those things interest you, go ahead and subscribe and keep watching. Today we're going to talk about semester 7, which I finished, and the courses, the work-life balance, and also any tips that I may have for you. So at this point, we've made it, okay, all right, halfway through the program, or like semi-halfway through, okay? And if you are in semester 7, go ahead and pat yourself on the back. You out there, you're doing your thing, you're surviving, and that's what matters. If you're part-time like me, there's 3 courses that you'll be taking. Keep in mind that my program is very good at switching things up, adding classes, removing classes, all for the benefit of their student, which honestly I like. They take a lot of feedback that we, the students, give them, and they do what is best, so that way when we sit for the boards, we pass the first time. So the first course that you'll be taking is going to be Advanced Health Assessment. This is the last P before we jump into clinicals, and honestly, it's a toughie. It's a toughie because this is one of the core classes that it builds your foundation, so when you are out there in clinic, you know what these signs and symptoms, what these clinical presentations are when the patients, are there. Right off the bat, Advanced Health Assessment is going to be the class where you spend the majority of your study. This is the class where you give it your all. And you have to pass this and the clinical that's happening at the same time in order to move on to the next semester. If you fail one, you automatically fail the other. But that's not going to happen to you though. You're fine, okay? So of course we have tests. I believe there's 5 tests and then a HESI. I have no hints and clues about the HESI because this is a test. The HESI is one of the tests that I just sit. And I just take the exam, and whatever happens, happens. Okay, I believe, I believe that for the HESI, your whole course, your whole 13, 14 weeks should prepare you for the HESI. If not, what would we do in a class? Please tell me. And the HESI is so standardized that, it is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
But it's gonna be fine. One of the things that our professor added into our semester, which was new for us, were beignets. And beignets are basically clinical presentations or like a scenario that the professor writes, and you go through each body system, like the head, H-E-E-N-T, the abdomen, the heart, the lungs, and you would tell the professor what body system you're going to examine, what are the exact exams you're going to perform. Like, are you going to take the ophthalmoscope and look for the red reflexes? Are we going to do the Rhine and the Weber? Like, you're going to say exactly what you're going to do and what you expect to find. For me, they had us use these 2 books, and I say go ahead and buy these books. Absolutely. This book I actually read when it came to studying for this course. I read the book.
Stop it. Get some help.
Don't ask me. I literally it was a quick read just so I know each procedures. I know what we're testing for. I went ahead and I marked all over it, put my tabs and stuff, and I bought this off of Amazon. And now this gem, go ahead and buy it. This is so clutch because it will tell you, okay, so if your patient comes in with a certain symptoms, it gives you the differential diagnosis, and it gives you like 3 or 4. Because a lot of times as a practitioner, you don't just want to say, oh, it's automatically this, because then you rule out all the possibilities of the disease that it actually might be. So it just goes ahead and tells you all the different differential diagnosis that it could be and the signs and symptoms, okay? So I definitely, 10 out of 10, this is the book that you need to get. In conjunction to the didactic class, you have the clinical component. And honestly, this is what made me go through the ringers, y'all. So you have checkoffs, and you check off on each different system. So HEENT, the heart, lungs, musculoskeletal, cranial nerves. So you do all those checkoffs, and you have a deadline to get those checkoffs done. But what was not, fully explained to us that yes, you have open labs, but you need to show up every week or every 2 weeks to get checked off. Okay, I didn't know that. And that wasn't, told to us. So a lot of us had not done any checkoffs till like almost halfway through the semester. And then here goes me booking flights to go to Houston every single week because I had to get checkoffs done. Next to the other class is going to be diagnostics. And I've heard that they combine the classes together, which is cool. But when I took it last semester, I was so annoyed. So they make you show up for 3 in-person classes. And keep in mind, COVID is still, doing its thing. Omicron is still crumping and, all that stuff. So they told us, okay, first class, you have to be there. And the first class was cool. We got a suture, we got to do splints, we got to do pelvic exams and do pap smears and all that stuff. And then the second class was reading x-rays and other diagnostics. And I feel in the second class we got played because it was the guest speaker, and the guest speaker under-delivered. The guest speaker spent more time talking about himself than actually teaching us how to read a chest x-ray. And I was so livid because I'm like, I flew in for this and here you go wasting my time. But anyway, I know that, reading chest x-rays and, reading all those sorts of exams, it comes with practice. And that's something that you get more and more once you're done with your program, and you can sign up for courses like that, but it would be nice to get what I'm paying for, you feel me? But anyway, in that class, you also have to take an EKG class, and it's very tedious and time consuming, but I love a good refresher. It goes really into depth. You need time to sit through and listen to the guy explain, and then take quizzes, and then take 2 tests. So yeah. But overall, the class wasn't bad. And then you also have a presentation where you present a procedure that only advanced practitioners can do, and then you write a paper on it. I was like, oh, the redundancy, we love it here. But a lot of times our presentations have to have a voice note. So give yourself enough time. Don't be like me, who decided to do the voice note the day that it was due. And then I was like, okay, let me jazz it up a little bit. Let me do a Prezi. I did not know how to work a Prezi because I'm getting up there in age. And I was like, you're kidding me. So literally, I recorded in one take, 8 minutes, no mess ups. And I was like, look, it is what it is. If it sounds like I'm talking really fast and I'm going like this, I don't care. I said what I need to say, and I'm turning in the project. Luckily, I got a 99, I got 100 on the paper and the presentation. So I was like, woo. But yeah, this class, it's okay. I just wish that I'd gotten out a lot more from it than I actually did. The last course you'll be taking of the semester is gonna be writing for publication. Now, the professor, amazing. Literally straight to the point. The whole point of the class is to get you prepared for submitting your work, your paper, your literature to, I keep wanting to say magazines, but not magazines, but scholarly, magazines. I can't find the word. It's gonna come to me. But yeah, so you get your papers ready for publications, and so you find an old paper, you revamp it based on the guidelines, you send it to your classmate, they check it, you send it to professor, she checks it, you make all these edits, you turn it in, boom, bam. Easiest class, you just do what you're told and that's it. So honestly, she was amazing. And then we had each week we had weekly class meetings, or every 2 weeks, and she was literally like, do y'all need help? You need a WebEx? And most people are like, no, we're good. She goes, okay, cool, see you next time. And I'm like, yes, ma'am. Instead of doing mandatory WebEx, where we'll just be staring at each other's face for 30 minutes. It's like, anyway, so yeah, this is an easy A. You literally cannot mess this up. So now to talk about work-life balance. Personally for me, I was able to work full-time 36 hours and go to school. I would say the best thing for you to do, like I always do, make sure your school schedule and your work schedule align. So my schedule is literally based on school. I take the day off before my exams. If I'm flying home to go to school, I make sure that I schedule my flight for the same day, and I make sure I take like the second to the last flight in case that flight gets delayed or whatever. Just make sure that you give yourself enough time between getting to your checkoffs every week or every other week to getting your tests and your quizzes and all your assignments turned in. Now, when it comes to the tips for this semester, for checkoffs, I highly recommend that you take your checkoff, whatever the requirements for your checkoffs, whatever body parts you're doing, write down a script. You can be like, hello, my name is X. I'm going to be a nurse practitioner. I would like to do a neurological assessment on you. Is that okay? Okay, that's okay, perfect. I gel in, I wash my hands. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to assess their, cranial nerve 2. I'm going to assess the cranial nerve 3. Okay, can you smile for me, for me? Okay, stick out your tongue. You just really want to make sure that it comes off as fluid. You don't look like you're struggling and you're forgetting stuff. You want to be calm, cool, presented. And I think one of the things that super helped me out, I acted as if checkoff was me with my actual patient.
Keep it simple, stupid. Great advice. Hurts my feelings every time.
When you're doing checkoffs with a professor, it seems very, very scary, but you basically do that every day at work. You're assessing patients. So I decided to treat it more like that, and I was a lot more comfortable. I feel like I'm always gonna say this when it comes to tips: practice, practice, practice.
We're talking about practice, man. We're talking about practice. We're talking about practice.
You need a lot of practice questions. And why I focus a lot on practice questions is because it takes that head knowledge that you have, it helps you apply it, okay? It helps you apply everything that you've learned, because they're gonna have questions where, okay, of course, it's gonna be verbatim, it's gonna be, something that is just a fact. Then you're gonna have a lot of your questions that require you to, use your brain and critically think. And that's why I say practice questions will help you with application. Another tip that I have is for you to practice on people. When it comes to doing your checkoffs, you need to practice on your boo, your mom, your siblings, somebody. And if you don't have anybody to practice on a teddy bear. That's what I would do when I didn't have a physical person. And you want to practice every single day till it becomes it becomes routine, okay? Because this is not just a skill for this checkoff, but it's a skill for real life. So I guess this sums up everything that I have to say about my 7th semester recap. I'm currently in semester 8. I'm going through the struggle. You can't tell because I'm smiling and I'm laughing through it, but I'll be sure to put out more content and you guys can check it out. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment below. And yeah, y'all have a great day. Bye.